welcome to Chick Chat and Chill. I'm Laura Fickett, your co-host. I own Fickett Financial Coaching, where we love to help people make more money, manage it better, and retain it to build their wealth. I do free consultations. I do individuals and business owners, private coaching, classes, workshops, speaking engagements, all kinds of fun. Today, we're going to be talking about kind of like exercising for lazy people, which is a great topic for me. But before we do that, I want to turn it over to my co-host, Antoinette.
Hi, I'm Antoinette. I'm the owner of Pixel This. So it's a full service design firm. I'm already thinking form with exercise, but that basically handles, any way that you want to promote your business, your service, your brand, we're your go-to gal. So I think before we talk about exercise, I kind of want to start a little kind of with a preface. So I think when most people think like, oh, I'm going to start exercising, they think in their mind like, oh, what's the optimal thing in the world? Like, I'm going to wake up at 5, then I'll hit the gym for an hour, and then I'll do this. And I think people overshoot what they really need to do to keep themselves healthy and fit. And I think that kind of keeps people in this stuck phase of not going anywhere. I mean, what do you think, Laura?
I think it's a very similar concept to finances. Like sometimes, you'll meet with maybe a financial advisor or something, and they say, well, for all your goals, and if you want to retire, then you've got to start saving $800 a month. And people are like, I can't even save $8 a month. And that's where they should reach out to a financial coach, but then they don't save anything. So yeah, exercise is the same thing. They feel like they're so far off the mark between what they need to do and what they're doing that they just don't do anything. And that's where we're going to give some tips today, because I am a lazy exercise gal, so I'm going to tell you how to fit in some of the things that I do into your routine, and start somewhere. And then I'm still not a gym girl, but maybe you'll get to be a gym person. I don't know. Are you a gym girl, Antoinette?
I actually really enjoy the gym. I used to work out at home, and we had a home gym. And the reason why I actually joined a gym in the first place many years ago was as a reason to get out of the house. Because when you have the home gym, and I had a business that I worked from home, and then my ex used to travel a lot, and he'd stock me up with food. He was kind of the chef of the family, but he'd stock me up with food and all these goodies, and then he'd come home after a week and the milk was spoiled, and he's like, what are you eating? I'm like, well, it's not too chunky. And he's like, what is wrong with you? Like, you could just go to the grocery store. And I found like, when I was in like stay at home mode, I just stayed at home, and it was just really an effort to do anything. So I actually joined the gym. I mean, at this point I was, I think, 107 pounds. I was fit. I really didn't have any health goals. It was literally, the goal was to get out of the house.
So as you tell stories, sometimes I get this like visualization in my head, and I'm like, okay, wait a second. Her ex would go away, and he would stock the house full of food, and then what, like lock the door, and then like you didn't leave for the whole okay, we're getting off topic.
The chain only went so far.
Oh man. Well, I don't know. I think about like the people that love gyms, like, hooray for you. I'm very happy for you. I'm very excited, but it's never fit into my routine, and I've tried it before and I didn't like it. And so it wasn't a sustainable thing for me. And exercise needs to be sustainable, because we're like in a box life. Like right now you're watching this video. You're watching it on a box, probably sitting in a box. Like you probably ate something from a box today. You drove to wherever you are in a box, and you hold like a little box in your hand. Like, we're in a box life. And 100 years ago, people weren't in a box life. So one of the things I started doing, which could, I guess, people have said this could potentially be dangerous. And so it's true. It could be dangerous. So try this at home, like with your own, I don't know, safety features in your shower. But one of the things I thought was like, I take a shower every day. Like, yes, I do. If you don't, then this will be an every other day activity. But I take a shower every day. And what I'll do is like, I'll put soap on, and then I'll do 25 squats, and then I'll rinse off and I'll do 25 squats. And I put shampoo in my hair and I'll do 25 squats. And then I'll rinse it out and I'll do 25 squats. So I get in 100 squats a day, and it doesn't really take much more time. If I do sweat, I'm in the shower. So I wash it off like immediately, which is a plus for me. And so that I've paired that activity with something I'm already doing. And when I go in there, I'm reminded to do it. Now, if you have a bar to hold on to or something, probably safer. I don't. And like I haven't hurt myself yet. I probably just like totally, so it'll be tonight. Like next week when you see me and it'll be like, oh, I hurt myself doing squats in the shower. But that's one of the things, like you have to get creative sometimes. I have 4 kids. I have a lot of businesses, a lot of stuff going on, and I do a lot of things and I need to be creative. So that's one of my creative tips is think of something you're already doing, and maybe like you take the dog out. I never thought in my whole entire life that I would spend so much time watching an animal like defecate in my lawn, but it's a considerable amount of time. And so you could do squats while you do that. Like think of something that you do where you're just standing there, and that's how you can fit squats in. That's
Yeah.
my squat tip.
See, you don't like gyms. I don't like squats.
Maybe in the shower.
I haven't tried that. Yeah, I'll probably be the one that falls because I am accident prone. But for me, like for instead of squats, I love stairs. Like I love stairs. And what actually shocked me is when I used to go to my gym, it was on the second floor of this building, and you'd see people actually go and press the elevator button and wait for the elevator to take them up one flight of stairs. And I thought that was nuts. So I'm one of those that if there's stairs as an option, if I park someplace in a parking garage, I'll always take the stairs option. I mean, granted, if I was like, I don't know, on my way to my own wedding, maybe I didn't want to work up a sweat, maybe then I'll take that escalator or something. But for the most part, you can always do that. I think it's one of those that's so easy. You don't have to do anything special. Just take the stairs.
It is
Or
a challenge though to find stairs in Florida.
it
I
is.
mean, it's a
It is.
challenge.
It is. I actually have I don't know, a funny story popped in my head, and I probably shouldn't say this, but I remember I was in college, and I was walking up a parking garage or towards a parking garage, and this guy was bicycling down, and I went, "What's this guy doing in the parking garage?" And then I'm like, "Oh, I'm such a snot. The poor guy's looking for a hill in Florida." And then he drove by me and went, "Oh," to my boobs.
Oh,
And I was like, I just went from like, being a snot to like really like chasing him down like, on his bicycle. But anyway,
reminder, we don't script the show.
I
And
digress.
so
It just popped in my head.
sometimes
Sorry.
it goes off topic.
Okay, but the point is, you can always find, if there's stairs, take them. The other thing is, if you go to grocery shopping, people will circle forever to get the closest spot. There's nothing wrong with parking at the end of the parking lot and walking your way there. It's your car's less likely to get dinged. I think people overcomplicate it and they're like, I'm going to run. I'm going to run. You could actually get pretty wounded running. I know a lot of people who they twist an ankle, they do this. It's very difficult to get wounded walking. And it's, just as good as of an exercise. It's, less havoc on your knees.
My ego gets wounded when I try to run. It's like I always think of Phoebe from Friends and like just running. If anybody's ever seen that episode, that's how it is. Or Tom Brady. That's probably a more likeness as to how I run. But my ego gets ruined. I'm not a runner. My daughter is a runner. She's excellent at it. And I don't know. Like I think you're right though. I think people think it has to be like this big, huge thing that they have to incorporate into their life. Just start anywhere, start small, and then you might build up to these other things. You might build up to a 5K or something like that, but start small by parking far away. Start small by doing squats in the shower or, something like that. Another thing that I do, I bought a virtual reality headset because getting dressed, drive to the gym, then be there with people I don't know in an uncomfortable situation that kind of smells funny, like then drive home, like the whole experience just was unpleasant. So now, like if you have just a little bit of room, you can get these headsets. And this one thing that I subscribe to is called Supernatural. It's kind of like, if people have used this other thing, Beat Saber, you can look it up online. But in Supernatural, like for half an hour, I do a workout to music and they put you in like different places. So like I can be working out on Easter Island. I can be working out by a lake in Washington. I can be working out in Ireland. Like they've filmed this personal trainer in different places. And so I mean, there's a lot of benefit. All I have to do is get dressed, put on a headset, and do it in my living room. And so that's kind of not, you're not a lazy person. You're just a busy person and you're trying to work in, and you can do 15 minutes, you can do 20 minutes, you can do 25 minutes. If you can save up the cash to buy one of those and buy the subscription, that was good for me. It was a good solution for me
Yeah.
to get a workout in.
I think also you touched upon some key aspects is make it part of your routine. I think so many people, they have their regular routine and then they try to squeeze it in. The more you could attach it to something you're already doing, like even, maybe after every meal you take a 10-minute walk or something like that. Or, it's just so easy if you squeeze it in somewhere and don't make it this huge, oh my God, I need 2 hours. Start small. You can always increase it. But like I said, you could get really good benefit from just 10 minutes a day. I think people have this really ridiculous thing that for them to reach optimum fitness, you have to, you could get like 90% to there on really basic exercises, simple resistance. I remember when lockdown started with COVID, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm not going to go to the gym. And I was a huge gym rat. So I was thinking, like, what am I going to do? And I went over to Walmart. I was like, oh, I'll get some some dumbbells and stuff like that. Well, the shelves were completely empty. Like the food shelves were, everything was gone. So I found one box that looked like it was bought and returned and was all taped and all gross. And it wasn't something I was looking for, but I ended up buying it. And I brought a visual. So
Let's
there
see.
were um these little in the shape of an X.
We
I
have
don't
a
know.
green screen here. It's not going to show up very well,
Yeah.
I think.
Oh well. But
Put it in front of you.
okay. So it's an X shape resistance band. So anyway, sorry about the green screen, but basically what I liked about it is you could, put your feet in there and you use your arms and that's actually fun. Like you could just sit there and, do 10 minutes of, whether you want to work your biceps or triceps and you actually do get some pretty good muscle tone from that.
And
I
that could be on a couch,
Yeah,
right?
like you could go on a couch and I would just like I love music, so I would just blast my tunes and have 10 minutes of, you lie on a couch, stand up. It could be while you're watching TV. I mean, it's so easy that you could really let's say you're waiting for, I don't know, water to boil. I mean, it literally can be incorporated and it's so light that sometimes when I go traveling, I just throw it in my suitcase because I don't know if they're going to have the fitness center. I don't know the hours of the fitness center. Sometimes if I'm busy doing stuff, at least I could do something. Let's say it rained all day and it's a business conference and I didn't get a chance to go outside. I just feel better when I do exercise. And I mean, we're just talking about, different exercises, but the cognitive benefit of exercise is immense. Like it raises your dopamine. And I know part of the reason I love going to the gym isn't the gym, it's how I feel afterwards. Like whatever mood I'm in, it's like elevated 10 times when I leave. So um
The
I
other
just
the
I
other thing that I think too, like, do you sleep better after you go to the
yeah,
gym?
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, exercise definitely has a huge role, how you sleep. I think you make better choices with food too. Like if you're less likely to be like craving, like people get in this depression thing where bonbons and ice cream and all these sweets where if you're kind to your body, it kind of keeps going. You're kind to your body with food, you're kind of body with sleep, you're kind of body with exercise. It's all encompassing. So if you just take one of those pillars and throw it aside, one of the others is more likely to crumble as well, I think.
But here's the thing is, like you said, you can do it on the couch, right? So I think the key is your body should stay in motion. If you have a desk job, like, so say you're in front of a computer for 8 hours a day, and then you're mentally exhausted. Sometimes I think mentally exhausted is so much more difficult than physically exhausted because you just can't even think anymore. Like you've been thinking and focusing for so long that you're just like, oh my gosh. So maybe you just sit, right, sedentary on the couch, but your body's like, hey, I haven't done anything all day. Like, so then when you try to go to sleep, you haven't like exhausted yourself in any way, shape, or form except your brain. So the key is movement. So like Antoinette said, you're sitting on the couch, you have these resistance bands, you can move your arms, you can move your legs, you can do something if you incorporate it in. This is why, like, even if you're a lazy person, now if you're like I'm a run 5K and I go to the gym, and like, share this podcast with your friends that you are annoyed with that don't do those things. Okay, because like this isn't for those people. This
Hint,
is for
hint.
people like me. This is for people like me that has like, this alter ego of super lazy person that really wants to stay fit and wants to stay healthy and make good choices and live a long time, but sometimes I can't fit it into my schedule, and I need to be able to do things and stay active. The other thing I like to do is it has to be enjoyable for me. So a sport. So sports for me are fantastic. Like when I was shooting professional archery, that's a good upper body workout. The type of archery I did, you'd walk through the woods. So that was you could walk. I do horseback riding. And so that is great core workout, great leg workout. So if you can incorporate a sport, so say you have kids, you have a family. I didn't go to the gym like either when I had kids. I run around and played with them and spent time with them and lifted them. Like sometimes I would literally be like, okay, I'm just going to lift them up and down and up. And they loved it. And I'm getting in like a good arm workout there. So I think it should be, they have like work-life balance, they say. I always said it was work-life integration. I think it should be, it should be like exercise life integration. It shouldn't be like I'm working, I'm exercising. Like, how do we get them both together?
Yeah.
So that for people that are busy or people that, don't want to go designate an hour and a half to go exercise, get it into your day and just start doing anything. Even those bands on the couch, I think are fantastic.
I have a confession where I felt very silly doing this, but I was thinking I work at a desk all day long, and I thought I was brilliant that I saw one of these. It's like a bicycle that it's literally just the pedals. So you put it on the floor and you could pedal while you're sitting. And I'm like, oh, this is awesome, because I have like lots of hyper energy. So I'm like, that'll be great. I could sit at my desk and I could design, and I'll be getting this whole workout in. But I didn't realize, this is what I felt like an idiot, is that when you pedal, your knees go up and you hit the desk.
Oh Lord.
So apparently, and I don't watch TV. It probably is a better exercise if you're watching TV. You could just pedal away. But I removed television from my life long ago. But I just felt silly. So now I have this like sorry excuse for a bicycle that's collecting dust. But it is one of those that I think it's important to kind of integrate it whenever you can. Like one of the things I do, I live beachside in Florida, so um, a lot of times, like, you know, if I go to the beach, I can't, I go stir crazy. I can't lay on a towel and then the sun's beating on you. Like that's too much for me. So when I go, I don't even bring a towel. I bring nothing. I literally walk in just a bathing suit to the beach. And then all I do is walk up and down the beach. If I get hot, I jump in the water, and then I make that a workout. Like you can actually do some pretty insane workouts, just especially if there's like riptide. I mean,
don't go in the riptide. Okay, don't listen to Antoinette right now.
A good workout is trying to save your life.
No.
I shouldn't save my life.
No, I mean, you should save your life. No, you shouldn't tell people that this is a good workout, and then there'd be people going in the riptide.
No, I know. I'm usually more worried, like, please, bathing suits stay on, because half the time it goes one way, you go another. But, it's one of those that, again, so my beach time is much more pleasurable if I stay moving. So,
I can just imagine the people on the beach while you're having beach time must be fully entertained with this whole scenario and scene happening before them. Is there a lifeguard on this beach that you go on?
No.
Oh,
no.
gosh.
The one thing that I did once, I got this cute bathing suit and it had all these like sparkly little gems. and everyone's like, "Oh, cute bathing suit." I'm like, "Hee hee hee," and I'm walking along, and then I went to go in the water, and I realized I look like a fishing lure.
Oh my God.
And there's a lot of sharks around here, so that day I couldn't go swimming, and I was so upset, and I was so hot. Like, so yeah, things to keep in mind, like food for thought. Clearly I just buy very impulsively and then realize, I'm a fishing lure and I'm hitting my knees on the desk.
Swimming is supposed to be a very good exercise for you. It's supposed to exercise. If you talk while you're swimming, apparently, like, you exercise your entire body or something like that. Unless you're doing whatever she's doing. I don't know what's going on with Antoinette over at the beach, but don't do those things. Like, go, maybe Antoinette should go to a pool. I think maybe that's a safer thing. We'll do a GoFundMe to get her a pool membership somewhere so that we'll save a life today. Oh
But
my gosh, Antoinette.
But it's funny, like, you just reminded me of something about how, like,
no. I'm worried
like,
now for the rest
please
of the
stop
show.
remembering things. No, but I know this, like, you're not really going to work it into your schedule, but I know every time I spend time with my cousin, he's hysterical. So I'm always laughing, laughing, laughing. And then when I leave, my stomach muscles are actually like killing me because they had such a good workout. So you'd be surprised at how much like a good comedy or a comedy show, and don't be shy about it. Laugh. Like, I'm not shy with my laugh, even though a lot of people hope I would be. I've been hushed. Or
today.
Yeah. But I've even gone to comedy shows where, the comedy show's over and people are ready to leave. And there's like this one person like swimming upstream, trying to go up as everyone's trying to leave. And I'm like, what's this moron doing? And then they reach me and they're like, "Oh my God, I just had to tell you, I love your laugh." And I'm like, that's, to pick me out of a whole comedy group. I guess I have a unique laugh, but I enjoy myself, like, and I think a lot of people are shy about that. Like, if it's funny, go for it. I mean, you're exercising your abs. So
unless it's like at church or the library or
no,
something
actually,
like that. No, just
at church, true story, when I left,
gosh.
when I left my church in Connecticut and moved down here, I got an award for most likely to laugh because I think I'm the only one that got every one of my pastor's jokes.
Well, if it's a joke, sure, but don't like laugh at inappropriate
Like,
times.
God did what? No, it wasn't like that. He would work in like, funny moments and, little things apparently only I got. But
he sent a plague. No. Don't laugh at those times. The funny thing though is that I was running a networking group and it was an hour and a half long. And sometimes the energy, you kind of just feel the energy is low. And so when the energy was low, I'm thinking, I can't run this thing for an hour and a half unless the energy raises. So I would do laughter. That was my Massachusetts accent. Laughter, ER, yoga. And so what that is, it's what you're talking about. And it's actually pretty good exercise so that you do like 3 bursts of laughter. So you can do like a countdown. So I would do like 3, 2, 1, and then everybody would laugh for like 30 seconds. Or you would do like the zipper mouth, which, like, I guess I'll do it. Okay. So it's just like you just go like this and like you have your mouth closed and then you're like
I gotta find that zipper
sometimes. Anyway, it would get everybody laughing and then they would, all be excited. It would raise the energy, but she's right. Antoinette's right. Like, it does help your core. Laughter is a great core exercise. So you can do it in the car. Like, right, there's a bunch of crazy drivers. You just pull up to a red light, you put your windows down and just like,
I am so going to do that today and just like record people. But one thing that
you're incorporating it into your driving.
But one thing that I do that you could do anywhere, like in the car, anywhere, is, I know this is silly, but if you're sitting down and you just tense your butt, like almost like you tense it and you contract your stomach muscles at the same time, so it works your buns and your
I'm doing
abs.
it right now.
So I was doing it at the gym, and it was funny. So this one woman comes over to me. She goes, "Are you doing?" I'm probably going to say it wrong, but she goes, "Are you doing Kegels? Do you?"
Well, those aren't butt clenches.
Well,
Those are clenching different muscles
but
for females.
I was like, no, what is that? And she described to me. I'm like, oh no, but I'm like, so I every time I did it at the gym, I think everyone just thought that's what I was doing. But oh well, I always had a smile.
There's a lot of people following her out of the gym.
Yeah, that might explain my stalker situation.
Now we're connecting the dots.
Woohoo,
we're connecting the puzzle pieces of Antoinette's life here on Chick Chat and Chill. But she's right, though, clenching and unclenching your muscles. I mean, how much more, like, I guess, lazy does it get? You're just sitting there at the office desk. You're sitting there on the couch, and you just, like, clench your muscles or clench your glutes, clench your abs. You can like get one of those, like, the hand things there, and like, they're like
oh,
little,
like the stress balls.
you can do stress balls, or they have like the ones that are weighted, like you can just unclench and unclench. Apparently you shouldn't clench and unclench your jaw. I do that all the time. Dentist says no clenching. So don't do that for your jaw. But the rest of your muscles, you want to exercise them. You can clench and unclench. You can, like, if you're just sitting, you can like go on your tippy toes for your calf muscles, and then like lower your feet to the ground and then do that. Like, there's all kinds of things. Like, there's no excuse really to not incorporate some of these lazy exercises
even
that we're
a
talking
push-up
about.
like this guy I dated would do 100 push-ups every morning before he took a shower, and he was in great shape, and people were like, oh, how often do you go to the gym? He's like, never. But he just like, again, it doesn't take a whole lot to really just get some movement going. But
we have to wrap up. But here's my 2 cents on the gym. Okay. Here's my 2 cents. 100 years ago, people would go out and they would mow their lawn, and they would do their own gardening, and they would clean their houses, and they would be so much more active than they are now. Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't hire people to do all these things, but people work all week. They hire people to do all these chores, and those chores were actually pretty good exercise. So maybe, once in a while you want to do some chores around your house, because chores can actually, it's probably an unpopular thing to say, but chores can actually be very good exercise. I mean, I've done some yard work with my husband. He doesn't enjoy it. Actually, he told me not to do it anymore because, like, I cut stuff and then I just leave it on the lawn. So, like, a no-no. But I like to just cut things up, like trees and whatever. But chores in your house also, lazy exercise gets things done. And that's, hundreds of years ago, people used to do stuff around their house, and that's how they would exercise.
But another, like, bad buying decision is those rotary lawnmower where it's just a wheel. Again, terrible. I'm like, oh, I'm fit. I would go to the gym. Oh my Lord. Like, I don't know how Hercules could have done that, but
good exercise though, right?
Not if you're like, can't even move the thing. So
anyway, I think that's a dangerous thing for you. You shouldn't have bought it anyway.
No. So that quickly went back.
She still has her 10 fingers after that one.
I don't know. But anyway, we really do got to wrap
it up.
Close
us out.
Yeah, but next week you got to join us, because we're going to talk about the things that girls wish guys understood about us. And I think we could go on forever, but I think it's definitely a topic. If you know a guy, nudge him a little and have him tune in. I think it'll definitely be some interesting topics for sure. So until then, never stop laughing
and never stop learning. We'll see you soon.